Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had some really interesting conversations, sessions, and networking opportunities so far. Before I start, I have another practical announcement, and that is, if you haven't already signed the participant sheet, please go out and do that. Not now. When you leave, it's at that big desk as you leave. It's really, really important. More important than you know. This session here now is a celebration. It's a celebration of your work. We are going to share your success stories. We're going to celebrate peer accomplishments and our collective growth. You will be updated on some of the latest developments, and hopefully you will feel even more connected to our progress as a joint community for Barnahus. Exciting, right? But first, we will celebrate a winner. Drum rolls. We had a little quiz to guess which local name goes with which country, and we have a winner. The winner is Sara Asmundela. Where are you? This is your... Oh, wow. Here you are. We have some lovely gifts for you for your accomplishment. And which one was the hardest one?
Probably the distinction between the Norwegian one and the Danish one.
Yeah, that is a tricky one. And I just want to, can you please, this is a very special gift. Do you recognize it? Yeah, you do? It's a vintage Barnahus Forum bag. That's cool. Thank you so much for taking the quiz. Do you have a microphone? Okay, then I shall hand over to Shauna.
Yes. So as part of celebrating progress, one piece of progress in the Barnahus Network in the last couple of years since the last forum is that we've added a number of members. So this is a great opportunity to welcome you all. On the member level in particular, we have from Finland, HUS, Helsinki University Hospital. From Georgia, we have the Ministry of Internally Displaced from the Occupied Territories, Labor, Health, and Social Affairs. And from Lithuania, we have the Lithuanian Barnahus under the State Child Rights Protection and Adoption Service. Congratulations to our new members. Woo! On the associate member level, we have from England, CERC. We have from Ireland, Children's Health Ireland. From Romania, we have Salvati Copii Romania. That's Save the Children Romania. And then from Spain, we have a big representation here from ADEMA, Asociación Albores, Suarez Service. And we also have an individual prosecutor, Maria Teresa Serrano Villanova. Welcome, everyone. Another highlight here, well, two highlights really. There are two countries that were part of our original pilot countries back in Promise 1. That is Romania and Lithuania. So we're so glad to have you back home with us in the Barnahus Network. And we also have a third new country in the network, and that is Georgia. So growth from different angles. Moving now to your progress. One thing that we asked you when you were registering for the forum was to share an accomplishment that you are proud of in your Barnahus work in the last year. And we received many very interesting and impressive results covering these categories: milestones and openings, national developments, practice developments, results, pride in your team, and also international exchange. So let's take a look at some of these. Under milestones and openings, we see that there continues to be momentum for expanding nationally, for example, in the Czech Republic, in Germany, in Ireland, in Poland, and in Spain. In Estonia, many of you are hoping to and are planning to visit the Tallinn location. And there they say, we moved one of our Barnahus to a new, larger location. It improved our work quality and overall well-being. And there's also countries who are celebrating anniversaries, for example, in Latvia and in Scotland. Congratulations, everyone. And Olivia, do you have any reflections?
I'm over here now. Hi, Shauna.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
You need a balloon so I can track you through the room.
Exactly. No, what I really like with this slide is that it celebrates kind of anniversaries to scaling up to the impact that a move can have. And I have moved closer to Merit because I wanted to ask you about your move and the impact that it had.
Yeah, thank you for this possibility actually to share it. But it really has been quite of a very interesting year in many ways. And yeah, it's kind of those of you who have already been to our new location have seen that it really has an impact not only for us who work with children, but also for the most important for the children and also for all of our cooperation partners. So it's kind of we are all the. It's actually we all are happy together in that sense, and we have seen what it was before, and this impact of the environment. It's everything. We are part of the environment, so it's so, and yeah, I just can't even put it into the words actually, because I've seen how it was before, the way we worked. We didn't even have a way actually place for eating, so we were having a lot of stuff everywhere. Of course, it was very nice to be because we love what we do, but still, it makes a difference also for children when they have this this feeling that yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing this possibility to share it.
Thank you so much, Merit.
Moving now to national developments. And among your national developments, we see that Barnahus is gaining recognition and buy-in. For example, in England, where the Lighthouse has recently organized a parliamentary event. We see Slovenia reports that their Barnahus is part of the criminal proceedings with stable finances. Some countries are reporting progress in national coordination, for example, in Norway and in Bulgaria. And in Moldova, Sinipac has been facilitating multidisciplinary consultations that are helping to shift stakeholders away from fragmented services and towards Barnahus. We also see Australia is referencing the Barnahus quality standards and examining their relevance there. And finally, I want to point to Finland's response, where they are noting that they're looking at their laws and looking to amend them to potentially offer services to a wider range of children. Oh, Olivia, over to you.
Yeah, and I think this is also a display of both how important the context and what we call the enabling environment for Barnahus is, and how the external context in which the Barnahus operate in, how it impacts. And I wanted to ask you, Lisa, because we've been very excited to hear about the work that you have done with the Council of Europe to update your law. Would you like to share a little bit about the impact that you think it will have?
Yeah, thank you, Olivia. It is indeed exciting. It's the law that makes our Barnahus-like units function. It came about in 2008, so it's quite old already and a bit obsolete. And partly with the help of Council of Europe and DG Reform, we were able to have this national project that began at looking at our current legislation and identifying needs for change. And now we are actually updating the whole law, and hopefully one of the consequences will be that a wider range of children, like it says, will have access to our services. So not just suspected victims and witnesses of sexual abuse and physical abuse, but all forms of crimes where children are potential victims or witnesses. So, and there might be some other changes, but we don't know yet because it's an ongoing process that will hopefully be done soon. So we'll see. Yeah. But thank you for collaboration, both the network and Council of Europe.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and we're really glad to have the Council of Europe with us here today. I hope you get an opportunity to speak to them, but you will hear them tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. So looking now
Am I
to
in the
practice
way?
developments, some of the highlights here in this slide include that Romania and Ireland are proud of their work on developing things like interagency policies and guidelines and methodologies. And then in Germany, England, Spain, and Sweden, they're proud of their efforts to train different colleagues, for example, police, medical, and therapeutic staff, to enhance their specialization here. Both Spain and Sweden have reported launching specific training programs for Barnahus. That's very interesting. And then in Malta, they have been working to reach out to the judiciary on a case-by-case basis to promote the use of Barnahus. Well done. Olivia.
Yeah, there are so many interesting developments and practice and so much to learn from each other. And one thing that we often hear that Barnahus struggle with is to ensure that health is part of the team. And in recent years, we've seen some really interesting studies and pilots from Denmark. And I just wanted to ask you if you could now also share a little bit about this health screening that you mentioned here.
Yeah, and thank you for the opportunity. Well, in Barnahus Zealand, we had an idea a few years ago. We would like to have the pediatrician to come to Barnahus more often and seeing those children who come for assessment. 2 years ago, we finally got a solution. But what we did was we made a medical health screening model. And for now, it's only in Barnahus Zealand we have it. But every child coming to Barnahus is being offering to have this screening, and around 1/3 of the children say yes to it, or the parents do, and that's a good news because what they find there is in 25 to 27% of the cases, the screenings, they find some health issue that wasn't known before, and then can refer the child directly to a hospital for further examination. And in addition to that, the same person who has done the screening, the screening in Barnahus, will tell the child that it's me who will meet you in hospital, and I will follow you all the way through the examination. So that's the way we find possibilities to do the one door sentence in this matter. But we also have another project in Copenhagen with this forensic medical screening, and good results from that, and I guess a lot of you have heard about it. But what the last news, the breaking news is in Denmark, is that the Ministry of Justice have decided that every Barnahus in Denmark must do this forensic medical screening, and he also have money for it. So I guess in 2026 we will implement this work in every Barnahus. So I guess that's good news for children in Denmark.
Indeed, I think I can feel the envy emanating from this room. Thank you for sharing that with us, Kim. Looking now to results. Many members told us about numbers that they are particularly proud of, the number of children who they have been able to help in their Barnahus. There's 3 results in this slide that I'd particularly like to highlight. The first is England. I am proud of getting a young person in for her assessment and being able to visit her after to support her with her mental health. She was initially very worried about speaking to professionals. A powerful quote that really highlights the impact of the work that you were all doing. Thank you to England for sharing this. The second is from Latvia, and that is we interrogated 21% of all child victims in Latvia in 2024 in our Barnahus in our first year of operation. Wow, that is an impressive percentage. Congratulations. And actually the second one I want to highlight from, the third one actually is from Latvia too. Since Barnahus started its work, the quality of interrogations of children has improved and the timeframes for investigations have decreased. And here I want to highlight that it is actually a prosecutor from Latvia who is here today who shared this feedback. So thank you, Baiba, for sharing your impressions on how Barnahus has improved the way that you work. Moving now to team pride. Cyprus says, the excellent collaboration of the team to provide child-friendly justice. Estonia says, I'm really grateful and thankful to work with Estonian Barnahus team. Sweden says that after 20 years, we are still doing a great job and continue to develop. It's really nice to see how united you all are as a team in the way that you view how you work together. And then the last category that we have, what you said you were proud of, is about the international exchange, how you all have contributed to European progress on Barnahus, and how you all have benefited from the knowledge and experience from your international colleagues. Colleagues from Germany said that they are proud of a project they are running with CBSS funding with Finland and Sweden. They are looking at how to measure quality in Barnahus. Iceland, we heard already this morning from Olof that they're working with CPC, CBT, and they're specifically learning from Sweden's experience with it. And a colleague from Estonia said that participating in a roundtable in Lithuania was a truly interesting and enriching experience for her. Now, I'd like to invite you all to give yourself a round of applause for all of these important developments in the last year. Following up on what our Estonian colleague said here, indeed, it is our aim with everything that we do in the network to put out tools and invite you to events that are interesting and enriching, that inform and inspire your ongoing work to improve the quality of your Barnahus services and also to expand your services, to improve how your teams are working together, to gain buy-in, to improve coordination on the national level, and so much more. And one other thing that strikes me in all of these slides is that while there's many different ways that your progress has manifested, it actually comes together to give a coherent picture of this strategic pathway that we are all walking together as a network. Which leads me now to some of the milestones in the development of the network itself. And of course, I have to mention the important development that we are now an independent nonprofit organization based in Sweden. We have changed name. We're not the Promise Barnahus Network anymore. We're just the Barnahus Network. And of course, in case you missed it, we have a new logo. There are a lot of opinions on what animal this logo is. It's definitely a shapeshifter, and you're free to have your own ideas. You might know that Olivia and I are very much cat people, but we both agree that this is not a cat. So, I also, when talking about international collaboration and this important milestone for the network, want to take a moment to recognize that international collaboration was the foundation for building this network, for farming your passion and burning interest to learn from each other and to share. And we wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the generosity of the Council of the Baltic Sea States in coordinating the seminal projects that led to where we are today, to providing hosting for us for the first few years, which included in-kind staff and office space. And we're so delighted to be able to co-host this forum this year with you. It's a highlight of our progress so far, for sure. And we're also very grateful for the good collaboration we've had with the European Union, the European Commission in particular, and also with the Council of Europe, and we look forward to exploring new avenues to collaborate now that we're in this new format. Moving now to some of the things that we have been working on that we want to make sure that you, our members, and new members, prospective members, people who might be watching online today, that you have the newest information on what has come out recently and what is coming out soon. So as part of our ongoing good collaboration with the Council of the Baltic Sea States, we're working very closely to finalize and disseminate outputs from their ongoing projects that have to do with developing practice and policy for Barnahus. One of them is delivering this very conference. It's also delivering the forthcoming Barnahus Quality Standard on Child Protection, which some of you participated in a workshop on today. A practical tool to implement that standard in your daily work in Barnahus. Training was offered recently for network members on all of this. And there was also recently a guidance on exploring transnational child protection cases in Europe with an accompanying tool, which you will be able to find on the websites of the Council of the Baltic Sea States and the Barnahus Network. Moving next to a project that has recently ended, which developed an app called Journeys. And this app is informing children in their journey through Barnahus. It also has secondary target groups here, such as caregivers who may benefit from the information and the functions in the tool, and also professionals that can use the tool with children to communicate about what they will experience when they are in Barnahus. And the features include an interactive tour, a walkthrough of their personal journey in Barnahus, in that specific Barnahus. There's a breath-based meditation game as well to calm down and reduce anxiety. And it's recently been released in a long list of languages. And if you would like to learn more about how to use this tool, the CBSS is your main contact here, and you'll find more information on both of our websites about how to evaluate if the app is something that you want to work with. Moving now to adapting Barnahus processes for cases of online sexual violence. Recently, we held a training on adapting forensic interviews specifically for this case. We recorded this training and it is available on the barnahus.eu website. Highly recommend it. We had such interesting discussions. It featured Julia Korkman and Malin Jölleby. Very insightful discussions that we had in that one. And then also we have worked with Emma Harwood, who is here today, to develop the toolkit for interagency case management. As many of you know, we are taking incremental steps to developing some kind of very practical tool for each one of the standards, and this is the one for standard number 5. I also want to highlight that in conjunction with this, we have also released the update to standard number 5, which you will find the link for on this same page, and very soon we'll be working on integrating that update into the official version of the standards. Trainings were offered recently to many Barnahus members, and we have additional publications coming very soon to barnahus.eu. The newsletter from the network will alert you when it's time to access them. Some other important things that we've been working on in the last year or so. We've been working with the Oak Foundation to kickstart a project developing a common European evaluation framework for Barnahus. We'll be hearing more about that at the end of the day, well, before lunch tomorrow. We have been working intensely on a project with Lithuania, with EEA Norway grants. Agna, I think we're emailing almost on a daily basis for a while there, and I kind of miss it. We have been supporting Ireland with TFCBT training that was self-funded. They did the training at the end of last year, and they're continuing their supervision this year. And this is something that we offer from the Barnahus Network, one-off trainings specifically for your country, depending on exactly what you need. We're, of course, seeking diverse funding. We're following international developments, and we're hoping in the autumn to hold a course in EMDR. You'll hear more about that tomorrow in a session. We'd be very keen to know exactly what it is that you need to know from us so that you can send participants to this training. I want to take a moment now to switch gears. I've just done a bit of a speed run of what we've been working on. I want to take a little bit closer look of this piece of work that we are doing. We are in a project with Heijuni as the coordinator. We have partners also from Finland and Sweden, and this project is looking at enhancing video recorded interviews and virtual hearings. The project itself is geared both towards children and adults, and we are the lead on the work package that has to do with children. The outputs that we will be developing here is a summary of international and legal obligations, a protocol and guidance for interviewing of child suspects in particular, structured guidance for lawyers on procedural safeguards for child victims and suspects, and recommendations for remote court hearings involving children. And so, why do we think that this is something that is timely to do right now? We all recognize that digital tools like remote hearings and video recorded pretrial interviews can improve safety and support vulnerable participants such as children. It can preserve witness memories, reduce costs, especially in cases of cross-border cases. However, there are some concerns, and those are around fairness, the stress and cognitive load that this approach may place on legal professionals, and also the potential negative impacts on communication between the participants and how that might affect their sense of truly being heard. We know that video recorded and remote hearings can help vulnerable witnesses, such as young victims, to feel less stressed, but findings do indicate that judges may be biased towards live testimony over remote statements. So with all of this in mind, we have done a rapid literature review, which shows some key advantages, such as that juries and judges perform just as well in evaluating the truthfulness and accuracy of a child's statement via video as they do in person. There's a number of other advantages that this rapid review revealed as well. And then some of the challenges include that building rapport online can be more difficult due to the lack of in-person cues and potential technology glitches. So one of the things that we outlined in a previous slide here is that we want to develop recommendations for ground rules for remote hearings involving children. And I'm going to walk you through a little bit of it right now so that you are aware of what it is that we are working on, and so you can start to think about what feedback that you might want to give us about what we should look at, what we need to include and examine when we are developing this particular tool. So the purpose of this is to support legal professionals in conducting remote hearings with children in ways that respect their rights and psychological safety. This includes practical steps for ensuring procedural fairness, safeguarding, trauma prevention in remote hearings involving children. We want to demonstrate that the recommendations align with best practices, legal requirements, and interview protocols. And we want to draw on the existing evidence base. So when we have been working on the outline, we have some core principles that we want to keep in mind. Of course, the rights of the child. Another core principle is coordination of all of the relevant professionals in the preparation, execution, and follow-up. We want to make sure that that coordination continues even with these remote hearings. And we, of course, want to link to the specialization of all professionals involved. These are just some key core principles. Of course, there are many others to be considered here. And then in terms of what these recommendations may cover, and this is something that we're still examining, but in terms of before the remote hearing, the recommendations might cover things like informed participation, what sorts of technology you need to have in place and how it should be secured and the quality level and so forth. The safe and supportive setting, both where the interview is taking place, but also outside of that room and the other areas. And also how to set ground rules so that when you get to the remote hearing, it can happen in a child-centered manner. During the remote hearing, we're thinking about things like confidentiality, the control of the environment, and actually how to apply the ground rules in practice. After the remote hearing, we're thinking about covering things like debriefing and follow-up, both for the professionals, but also for the child. And then also covering special recommendations for specific case types, and, as I mentioned before, technical standard recommendations. And so, relating to this particular project, our ask for all of you, and we will continue to connect with members on this ask, most likely in the fall, and then continuing into next year with various forms of webinars and exchanges, is on the issue of pre-recorded and remote hearings with children. We would love to hear from you if you have any academic literature in your own language that maybe is harder for us to access that we should include in our review. We would also be really keen to get from you national legislation or policy that is relevant to this topic that we should look at when we're making our evaluation of existing legal framework. If you have any protocols or practices in your Barnahus that support upholding these standards for children and for all parties, do you have any examples of guidelines to lawyers, or if there's something else that this conversation has sparked to your mind that we haven't thought about yet, we would really love to connect with you to learn about that. So those are some of the things that we have been working on in the last year or so. And one of the things that we did just last night is the General Assembly has elected a new steering group for the Barnahus Network. And to that, I turn to our Secretary General for more information.
Thank you so much. Some amazing work going on in so many places. And now I would like to welcome all steering group members of the network to take the stage. And as you can see, they are running up, happy to contribute and inspire us all with their immense wisdom. We have Andre, Swedish Anna, come up here. Scottish Anna, Bryony, Effie, Fiona, there you are, Lisa. And we do also have another steering group member who is not able to join us here today. That's Astrid from Germany, childhood Germany. And I have been so inspired, so I am going to ask my steering group, fellow steering group members to share some of their excitement about being part of the steering group. So I'm going to stand here and then I'm going to just ask you to pass along the microphone. And what I wanted to ask you is if you could just very briefly reflect on what excites you the most about where the network is heading in the coming years, and or something that you are excited to work on in the network in the coming years.
So thank you, Olivia. It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited. So what excites me in the future is maybe I'm still under the impression of the last panel I was, so accepting children with harmful sexual behavior into Barnahus establishments. So one of our main challenges in the next year or two is to establish a specialized unit of the Barnahus for that kind of children. So I'm really looking forward for more exchange of knowledge and experience on that topic. Thank you.
Thank you. I too, of course, am very excited, but and it's difficult to really pinpoint what especially. But for example, I'm looking forward on our collaborative work on ground rules and how we work with them in the setting of investigative interviews, as well as now as our numbers grow and our expertise grows with it. I'm very much looking forward to how we, the steering group and the network, can support the efforts to kind of have Barnahus have an impact beyond its immediate clients on the society at large, in a sense. For example, how can we train other professionals working with children and spread our expertise in our communities? So this is something I'm particularly excited about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I feel like I need to use a different word than excited. Very invigorated to be on the stage today. I think I would echo what's already been said as sort of going forward. I'm really interested in supporting children and young people who have harmful sexual behaviour. I was in the session earlier today, and it's really making me confront some of my personal prejudice that I'm aware of now, but also thinking about children suffering from online harm, because I think this is really coming out now, and thinking about that and how interconnected that is with the harmful sexual behaviour and everything like that. So that's something that really interests me going forward.
Thank you. And of course, we're all very excited to continue this important work, of course. And I agree with my fellow members here. But the most important thing, I think, is that to continue, I'm really looking forward to continue this important work and this marvelous work to exchange all good practice and brilliant ideas that really matters for our Barnahus children in the daily work. That's kind of the thing that we're all here for.
Hello, I'm a new steering group member and from the Lighthouse, and we're all really proud to be part of the steering group now going forward, and continuing again with the international exchange that we've started here today and at the forum 2 years ago. So you're really pleased to be part of it and seeing more about all the exciting projects such as the child-friendly justice tools, and also really keen to hear more about the evaluation tools that are in process.
Hi, I'm also another new member, and it's a real privilege to be a member on behalf of Scotland, to be so connected to the emerging thinking around best practice within Barnahus, and really looking forward to contribute to the development of furthering routine child and family focused participation, and how that helps to ensure that children's rights to be heard and for that to change the development is enacted in practice.
Hi, everybody. I also am a new member of the steering group, so I'm delighted to be up here with all of these esteemed colleagues and experts in their field. As a child protection social worker, as my kind of job of origin, I'm really excited, I suppose, to see the finalisation of that standard and how that is going to look in practice. In addition to that, one of my areas of interest is around child sexual exploitation and some of the challenges that can really present both in child protection and also how we in Barnahus can support them in responding to that. So I'm really interested, again, also in the evaluation aspects, and particularly looking at evaluating the multidisciplinary interagency response and how do we measure that and evaluate how effective that is from the child's perspective. So it's great to be able to have a sense of the experience that is in the room and sharing practice and exchanges like this. So I really look forward to working with everybody on the network.
Yeah, give them an applause. And as you can see, we are all in very, very good hands. But also remember that these are your representatives. So if there's anything that you want us to discuss in the steering group, here they are. These are the people to talk to. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. And I would like to end this session by taking this moment to recognize our only outgoing steering group member. Oh, Rebecca. We're not letting go of Rebecca. I'm sure you heard what we were whispering about here, but we're not letting go of her yet. However, we do have one outgoing steering group member, and as you can hear, my voice is already starting to tremble. Maria Keller-Hamela. Maria has been a pioneer in the protection of children from violence in Poland and then across Europe for more than 3 decades. She has pioneered service development at the Empowering Children Foundation, where she served for many years as the vice president of the board and helped launch Poland's first child-friendly forensic interview rooms. Her clinical expertise, her advocacy, laid the groundwork for the Warsaw Barnahus pilot and for child-friendly justice reforms that benefit thousands of children every year. She excels in professional capacity building. She is a certified trauma therapist and national trainer, and she has educated judges, prosecutors, police officers, psychologists, social workers, pediatricians. She has set professional standards for evidence-based interviewing and multidisciplinary case management. Maria has contributed to scholarly and public outreach. She has contributed to more than 60 publications on child sexual abuse, forensic interviewing, and victim therapy. And she is the editor-in-chief of Abused Child Theory, Research, and Practice. She has contributed to and influenced European standards. She is a long-standing contributor to Promise and the Barnahus Network. and has, together with colleagues, provided case studies and expert feedback on the Barnahus quality standard, really helping to shape those standards. And she continues to advise emerging Barnahus teams through study visits and peer mentoring. And Maria, she has been our main contact in Poland, since Promise One. She is a signatory to the statutes that formalized the network, and she has been a leading voice in ensuring that the policies and the operations of the network contribute both to transparency and good governance. Having served 2 terms on the Barnahus Network Steering Group, as of yesterday, you are no longer with us there. But your contributions have had an immense impact on our work in so many different ways, and it will continue to have, and it's been a true honor and privilege to have been working with you. So, we want to show our deep appreciation by handing over a Lifetime Achievement Award. You have been and continue to be a guiding light. This is where it gets a little bit corny, I apologize. You have shown us that even in challenging times, there can be light if you remain curious, committed, and willing to take the leadership in turning the light on. Handing over this award, we recognize your ongoing commitment alongside your past achievements, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate with you in the years to come. Thank you so much, Maria.
Too many.
Maria, will you be the last one that we put on the spot today by sharing a few words of inspiration to us all? No? Yes? We don't like to make people feel uncomfortable, but we still do it.
First of all, I don't think I deserve these all words which were said before. Yeah, and I think that we are on the journey, and I encourage you to. I mean, I think there is no ideal system for child protection. Whenever how much we work hard, but we need this goal, and we need to go this direction. Never, gaining this goal, but we are closer and closer. So I think this is what I want to see.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's good to get a little bit emotional at the end of a long day. And the day is actually over for today. We hope that you enjoyed it. And tomorrow, we will go straight into the parallel sessions. So you just find your room in the morning and you go straight there. And please do remember to sign the participant sheets. Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Especially on your study visits. If you have any questions about where to meet for your study visit, or any other questions having to do with study visits, there's a gentleman in the back, Adrian, in a blue shirt. He's number 1, I'm number 2. Have a great evening, everyone.